expectations are that both Sam Bennett and Johnny Gaudreau will be in tonight. Is that
they will be, yeah. And I thought they've actually played pretty well the last game. They had 2 of our goals. So hopefully they can have another good one here, and we can leave this mini tournament on a good note.
What do you hope to see from them? Do you just hope you continue that ascent to the way they've been playing?
Every day you look for improvements. I think that's one thing that we'll expect out of them. And then I think it's the small areas that we've asked the guys to focus on. We kind of want to see if they've picked anything up, and that's the same for those 2 guys as well as everybody else that's in the lineup tonight.
It's 3 games in 4 nights. Was there any thought to giving them the night off, just looking forward to the rest of the week?
No, it was in conversations with Brad and Brad. There's a lot of thought that goes into it as to who they want to see, but I think in this situation it might be best served to play them, and then they can reevaluate in regards to the UFC game coming up when we get back to Calgary. So that might be the night he might not be in the lineup, and we'll be able to go out from there after tonight's game.
Mason McDonald gets a second consecutive start.
Yeah.
I guess, what do you look to see from him as he makes another good goal?
Well, to continue to improve, same as everybody. Mason, I thought he had some good moments in that first game, and for a guy's first game, there's a lot of nerves, and to be a goaltender, it can be intimidating. And I think today you noticed a more relaxed guy here this morning, and I think that's because he feels a little bit more comfortable. So I'm expecting him to have a really good night.
Granlund, Juris, and Ferland back together tonight. The 3 of them were in the first game. So impressive. Is that something that the upper management wanted to see again, or how did you decide on that?
We talk about players that are going to be in the lineup, and then it's kind of up to us to put lines together, and then we sit down again and talk about our lines. So they had good chemistry. I thought of the 2 games that Michael played in particular, that was his best game by far. So we're looking for more of the same from him. And for Marcus, it's him kind of getting back and making sure that he's consistent with his effort in a lot of different ways, because he is a guy that played last year. So we'll look for him for a little bit of leadership tonight, and I guess dictating the way our team will play.
I just asked Sam Bennett about this. I wanted to get your take on it as well. What is it about Johnny Gaudreau that makes him a guy who makes other players better?
He's got the ability to slow the game down. Like we mentioned, I think yesterday, that everybody talks about speeding things up. He's quick, he's fast, he's very shifty, so he's able to spin from guys just by kind of moving his body in different directions. But he can slow the game down in a good way, where he knows where people are coming late. So a little spin or a little turn, he often is able to find those later guys, and because of that, there's a tendency for him to make the people around him better, because he knows how to distribute the puck, and he really has a handle on where people are on the ice.
Is that a trait that should, this is a prospect tournament, obviously he's playing with and against young guys. Is that a trait that should automatically bump up to the next level, or is there a challenge associated with that as well?
There'll be a challenge, there's no doubt about it, but good players have the ability to raise their level. And again, something we've talked about, that it'll take a little while to get up to speed, and how some of the veteran NHL players play the game. They're all intelligent at that level, and they have an understanding of how to play against players like Johnny. But he'll adapt and adjust as well, and I think that's one of the reasons why you'll see him have success. I'm a believer in that, and I think he will. He'll take the next step once this camp is done.
It's a pretty condensed week of hockey. Have you been able to get a pretty quick read on some of these players? As a new guy seeing a lot of these guys for the first time, is it easy to get a read?
Well, first impressions are often the best ones. So there's a lot of guys that I've been really impressed with, and there's other guys that you kind of you're looking maybe for a little bit more in certain situations. But I guess the challenge for someone that doesn't know everybody is you hear a lot of people talk about certain players, so you don't want to form your opinion based on what someone else has said. So I've tried to keep a very wide open approach, and the one thing I can say about everybody here is they have really good people. They're good character young men in that room, and I think that is the start of a good group of players that will be coming up.
You have a couple of guys here in Elson and Ramage who went on a long run, obviously, in the East Coast League last year. I know you weren't working with them at the time, but looking at your WHL experience and stuff, how do those runs, those big games, kind of aid or impact development?
Well, learning how to win, I think, is important, very important, and winning it doesn't really matter what level you're at. Players have a better understanding of how hard you have to play in order to have success. They have a better understanding of maybe letting go a little bit of part of your own ego or identity in order to make your team better, and that's really what winning does. won't say it forces guys, but it makes them understand in a hurry what it takes to win. And it's not the easiest thing to do, and one team gets to do it in every league per year. But you look for those guys to be able to raise their level and try to lead the guys around them and help them get an understanding of exactly what they have to do in order to have success come that time of year.